Joining us on 710 KURV, Henry Mendiola from the local Border Patrol office. How you doing, Henry?
I'm doing well, Sergio. Good morning. How are you?
Good. I never see you there. I'm guessing they're picking up your order and taking it back to HQ. Okay, so you've been busy of late. This week, stash houses, just like a half dozen or so, less than that, and literally hundreds of people you've taken in. So what happened?
Well, we over the last few days we have gone into several houses throughout the Rio Grande Valley. Just to back it up to the fiscal year, we've done about 120 stash houses this fiscal year, and made about just over 3,000 arrests from that. So, yeah, over the last couple of days, we did have a 12-hour period there on Tuesday where we arrested about 230 people in 5 different locations. And this is in part because we've got good cooperation from our local law enforcement authorities, and we're getting a lot of calls from the community. So that's an important piece because the community is reporting suspicious activity to law enforcement, and we're able to act on that.
Were the smugglers caught?
They were. As a matter of fact, on the most recent case, we have 5 smugglers in custody. That was in the case in Edinburgh, where we had a total of about 98 people arrested. In that were 5 smugglers that we have in custody that will be going up for prosecution.
Okay. I don't mean to put you on the spot. Maybe this is something that's common knowledge for you guys, but how many years in prison does a smuggler typically get if convicted? Do you know?
It varies, Sergio. I mean, we've seen them get up to 10, 15, 20 years, just depending on the circumstance. But it varies based on the sentencing guidelines.
Joining us on News Talk 710 KURV from the local Border Patrol office is spokesperson Henry Mendiola.
Yeah, Mr. Mendiola, Tim Sullivan here. So this, what happened on Monday, was this a planned, coordinated raid in those 5 cities with the police officers in those cities?
Actually, Tim, it wasn't. This was just information that was received, and our intelligence unit took that information, developed it further, and then we're able to backtrack that to some of these residents where they were able to make these arrests. Obviously, at the incident at the hotel in McAllen, that was actually information received by McAllen Police Department, and then we in turn deployed some agents into the area. So it was a combination of things, but a lot of this was just information that was developed through our intelligence office.
Plus tips from the public, as you mentioned.
As well as the public,
wow.
Exactly.
Yep, okay. How long, there was a lot of immigrants being held in, I remember, I think one figure in Mission, there were like 78 immigrants held in one home. How long are these folks normally held in a place here before they move on north?
That's a good question, because we're starting to see that those hold times are a little shorter because the community is starting to pick up on these things. So these smugglers are trying to bring those people into the stash houses and move them out as fast as possible, so as not to tip off the neighbors. So in some instances they could be held 24 to 48 hours and then moved out. In this last case, we did have some that were held up to claimed to have been there up to 10 days. So again, that varies.
Yeah, and when that many folks are held in one place for that period of time, how are they taken care of, or aren't they? I mean, do they get water? Do they get snacks? What shape are these folks normally in when you come across them? Yeah,
the conditions in these houses when you have a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment and you've got 30, 40 people in there. Obviously the odor is really bad. They're not fed adequately. They're not hydrated. They're not properly hydrated. They're not drinking enough water. And the sad thing is that these smugglers expect these people. They take them up just south of the checkpoint and they'll drop them off. And these people are already prepared for failure. They haven't had a full meal. They haven't been properly hydrated.
They're weak to begin with before they hit the rugged terrain. What was the makeup? Oh, by the way, Henry Mendiola from the local Border Patrol office, our guest right now on 710 KURV. What's the makeup? 50%, more than 50% OTMs? What did you see?
More than 50% of what we're catching here in the RGV is other than Mexican.
Yeah.
Primarily Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, and then
Why is that, Henry? What are you hearing from the illegal immigrants?
Well, it could be several things, Sergio. Some of them are just trying to escape the economy, from the country that they're coming from. They're looking for a better way of life, and some of them are being told by the smugglers, there's a possibility that that you could you could legalize in the near future. Wow. And we all know that that's not anywhere near the truth. And
okay.
But
the
money.
The coyotes will make sure to get them on the road.
Absolutely.
Hey, I got to ask you something else before I let you go. The border turnstiles, they've been busy of late, not only with more OTMs, but also from Washington. I understand a bunch of senators and congressmen visiting down here. Are they boning up on immigration issues prior to the so-called immigration reform legislation they're considering? Is that what they're learning?
Well, they're coming down here. They want to get a first-hand look at how we operate and what we're doing to make things better, and how they can assist with with improving the processes for CBP and all the other law enforcement agencies. But we did have Senator Carper here yesterday with us. He's the chairman for the Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee, and he was with us yesterday for quite a visit. So he did get to see it firsthand, and hopefully he'll take all that information back to Washington when they consider legislation.
Yeah, and with President Obama in Mexico, and we've seen this before, he heads to Mexico and then he stops by the border somewhere, either before or after. Are you expecting a presidential visit near us anytime soon?
Not at this point. We haven't had any information with regard to a presidential visit yet.
And if you did know about that, you could tell me, but you would have to kill me, type of thing, right? Okay. I get it, Henry. I get it. All right. Henry Mendiola, Border Patrol Office, our guest on 710 KURV. News is a